So of course we have a page, and then ultimately we need to add some logic to show you the three most important things. But what I'm going to do real quick is deploy it so we can actually take a look at what it looks like as a running application. What it's going to do is set up some things, local database, deployment files, wrap everything together to make our web application ready. Our web server picks it up, and then we can ultimately say view the app. We'll go ahead and take a look at the app. Again, it's going to be just as exciting as I showed you the one overview data grid, but just to give you a sense for what that is, and it should indeed pull that data that I had pulled in with the Excel file into our running application. Let's see, so we still have a couple more things it's going to run through, and now that it's done the synchronization, it should be available to us. So I hit view the app, and we've got our three customers. If I look at my invoices, those are all the invoices we pulled in. So I'm just going to put some quick logic together. What I'd like to do is I'm going to add a column here, and we'll just say how much total invoices are outstanding for each of my customers. So if I take a look at the invoices, we have a bunch of current balances. I'll just go ahead and jump back into our demo. I'm going to add a button here. We'll create an action. We'll call it update customer total due. I'm going to right click, say let's call a microflow. So I apologize. All kinds of things you can do here. Most importantly for this conversation, microflow, nanoflow. Microflow is something that traditionally expects we're going to hit, say, the database. We're going to do some heavy processing. Nanoflow is expectation. We're doing it more like no server. We're going to use cache memory to deal with everything. So we're not going to do heavy commits, database retrieves, or other like. In this case, I'm going to use a microflow just so we can talk about more when I get into the activities that you can do. I'm going to say it's an action where I'm going to update customer values, and then it asks for some settings. We can dive into those later, but ultimately, if I show the microflow, you'll see it reads an awful lot like a Visio diagram, so I can sit with the business user. We can talk through it, and they can actually see the logic versus having to try to dissect lines of code. So we're passing in a customer. Let's say I don't want to pass in a customer. What I want to do is actually, I'm going to retrieve so I'm going to grab an activity box, and I'm going to say retrieve from the database all of my customers. Of course, I could have said first, I could have XPath constraint, so maybe I only wanted certain ones with a certain status. In this case, I want to go ahead and grab all of them. I'm going to, for each one, I'm going to iterate over each one. For each customer, what I'm going to do is let's retrieve by association my customer to invoice. So I want to get all their invoices. I'm going to stretch this out a little bit so we can add some more things. And then I'm going to take this invoice list, and I'm going to aggregate my list of invoices. I'm going to sum them using the attribute current balance. And then what I'll do is go ahead and remember we can do all of our change, create, read, update, delete. This is all readily available to us. So I'll just change our object, and that's going to be my iterated customer. And we'll change I don't have a member to support that. So let's go ahead, hit OK. I'm going to right click, go to this entity, and I want to know what their total current due is, and I'll make that a decimal, and then I'll go back, and now I can change my total current due to my sum current balance. And then one last thing is I want to commit all of that. Nobody wants to commit in an iterator, so we do it outside the iterator. We're going to commit all of our customers. We're going to refresh our interface, and we should see all of the customers update with their current due, unless, of course, we didn't update the interface. So what I'll do is add a column right. I'm going to use my connector, double click, and it will add that. I can then reset my columnlets. You'll see we have automatic consistency checking. Remember when I originally set this up, I was passing in a customer. It doesn't like the fact that I'm not passing that in any longer. So I need to go in, go to my microflow settings. It says, hey, you don't need this anymore, so I'm no longer doing it. And we'll go ahead and say, great, now we're good to go. You'll see that we have change management. We've added these things, we've modified these things. I can make a pull, I can make a commit, I can see the history of everything that we've done thus far. If I run this again, we should be able to see this action in real time, see if we can't update the customer totals. And so again, it's going to take all of the things that normally you would need a database administrator to do to update the back end. It takes care of that, makes our SQL statement injection. We can click, and now total due has been updated on each customer. Now maybe I'm upset. Kevin's Clutches, I thought they owed us money. What's going on here? Maybe my microflow is not working. Oh, I can go ahead and jump back into that microflow, and maybe I want to just add a breakpoint. And so when I go back and I run this, you'll see I'm triggered with a breakpoint, and I can actually step right in. I can see what we're working with, all of the variables, all of our customers, what our totals are, and I could actually then, if I wanted to, I could edit my breakpoint condition, and let's just say my iterator customer name. Well, do that right. Customer name. I forget what it is. Kevin's Clutches or something to that effect. We could set that up. I think that's a terrible way to do it, but if you know something specific and you only want to trigger the breakpoint off of that, you could set that up. Otherwise, let's just leave it open. I can follow through my whole flow. We could work with a business person. We can also set the breakpoint wherever we feel like the problem's happening. We can connect this breakpoint. I can disconnect it here. I could hit connect, and we could actually connect it to a remote server. So I could do it in test, acceptance, production. So if we're experiencing a problem, I can actually do it from my local machine and run through the whole thing as the person's experiencing it in real time.